Hey, I'm Adam Jusko, and this is Adam Answers, where we answer the burning and not so burning questions of the day. In this video, does the Citi secured credit card graduate to unsecured? And if it does, when? How long does it take? That's what we're going to talk about. But first, I'm going to ask you to please subscribe to this YouTube channel if you have not already. And if you have already, I thank you for doing so. So if you are someone that is trying to build or rebuild your credit, and you are considering the Citi secured credit card as a way to do that, you're probably wondering, does it graduate? Does it get upgraded to an unsecured credit card at some point in the future? And the answer is yes. In most cases, if you get the Citi secured credit card and over time you use the card correctly and you don't have other bad stuff on your credit report, you're not late on payments, all that kind of stuff, it will eventually graduate. And then obviously the next question is, well, when? How long is that going to take? You go on the Citi website and you look there, they don't really tell you anything about your credit card graduating at all to an unsecured card. So I will tell you that the general timeline for a Citi secured credit card to graduate is 18 months. One of the longest periods of any of the secured credit cards out there from any of the banks that offer them. So 18 months is what you're generally looking at with the Citi secured card. Now, there are some people that have said they graduated anywhere from 10 to 12 months. And so there are times when people will graduate faster. But if you are thinking of getting the card, you should not assume that that 10 to 12 month period is going to happen for you. You should assume that that 18-month period is probably more likely. But we want to be optimistic and think if there is a way for you to graduate faster than that 18 months. So what are the factors that probably are going to play in on Citi's end when they look at your record to decide if they would graduate you earlier? Number one probably is going to be really where you started from. If you got the Citi secured card because you didn't have a credit history and maybe you're having trouble getting started, you're probably going to graduate quicker than someone that had a bad credit history and is trying to build back up. So if you are newer to credit, you're probably in better shape. If you have had a bad credit history and you are trying to rebuild your credit, you're probably going to have to wait longer. Number two is, how have you done with other credit that you have? If you have credit besides this secured card, they're not only going to look at how you've done with this card, they're going to look at what you've done with other cards and other loans that you might have out there. So that's going to factor in also. Number three is going to be, how have you done with this card? They're going to look at your track record with that Citi secured card. And obviously, if it's good, that's going to help you. But if you've been late on payments or really anything that you've done that hasn't made you look like, a perfect citizen with this card, well, then obviously that would hurt your chances of being graduated anytime quicker. And then number four would be if you got other credit cards during the period that you had this card. So if you got the Citi secured card and then you applied for other cards, and you got those cards, it probably means that this card is not going to graduate as quickly. Number one, because you now have more cards, and so that makes them a little more leery of giving you an unsecured credit card because they want to see how you are doing with those other cards before they're going to graduate you. But number two is going to be the fact that once you have decided that you're getting other cards, well, then they have less of a motivation to upgrade you to an unsecured card, and you have new credit lines on your credit report. So in the short term, that is probably going to hurt your credit score a little bit, and that's going to make you look a little worse. So really, there are a lot of factors that are going to come into play here in terms of when they're going to graduate you. But again, for most people, you should figure on that 18 months. If you're going to be less than 18 months, pretty much everything else is going to have to look pretty good. Now, like I said, Citi is one of the longest timelines to go from secured to unsecured out there on the market. There are other banks and credit unions that have secured cards that you can assume would probably be less. None of this is guaranteed, but a few that you should take a look at if you are interested in a secured card and you're not married to Citi in particular. Number one, I would say the Discover It secured card. After 8 months, they start looking at your account to potentially graduate you to a standard unsecured Discover card. Number two, the Bank of America secured card. They're a little less definite in terms of when they start looking at your account, but probably about after a year is when you would think that possibly that card would graduate. Number three 3 is the Navy Federal Credit Union secured card. Now you have to be a member of Navy Federal Credit Union in order to get this card. So if you qualify, this is a card you definitely would want to look at. If you don't qualify, obviously this does not pertain to you. But the Navy Federal Credit Union card, after 3 months, they will start considering giving you a credit line that goes beyond the amount that you have actually deposited. And then at 6 months, they will start looking at you and consider you for an unsecured card altogether. So that's really fast. So if you have access to Navy Federal Credit Union, that is one that you definitely should consider. Now, up to this point in the video, I've assumed that you already know what a secured credit card is, but just in case you don't, I will give you a quick summary in case you're not sure how it all works. A secured credit card is basically like any regular credit card, except you have to put down a security deposit in order to get it. Generally, it is a card that is for people that are either building credit for the first time or rebuilding credit if they've had some credit problems in the past. So you put down a security deposit, the bank holds that deposit as security in case you don't pay in the future. And what you do is you put down maybe $200, $500, whatever, and the amount that you put down as a security deposit is the amount of your credit line for that card. So you put down $200, you're going to get a $200 credit line. You put down $500, you're going to get a $500 credit line. At least this is how it works in most cases. So then you have that credit card. You use it just like any other credit card. During the month, it is time to pay the bill. You pay the bill, and you pay the bill from other money, not from that security deposit. That security deposit is held by the bank, but that is not what pays your bill each month. You pay from other money, and then over time you continue to use the card. And if you're paying your bills on time, this can potentially help you build your credit. And when you finally get to the point, hopefully, that you graduate from that secured credit card, that is when that security deposit that was held by the bank will be sent back to you. And then, of course, if you don't graduate and you're just tired of the secured card in general, you could request that the money be sent back to you and the card account would be closed. So secured credit cards are a very nice way to build credit, but it can be a little frustrating to give money to the bank that you actually don't get back until you no longer have that credit card or until you're graduated. So it makes sense that if you're thinking about the Citi secured card or any other secured card, you would want to know how long it might be until you are graduated or upgraded to that unsecured card so you can get that security deposit back because that is your money. If you have any other questions, put them in the comments section below. Otherwise, I thank you for watching, and as always, please subscribe, and we'll talk to you soon.